Jamaica's population is aging rapidly. Over 350,000, or 13.2% of Jamaicans, are senior citizens. These individuals deserve our care and respect. Very often, our senior citizens are neglected, disregarded, and disrespected. It's time to act. A special select committee of the Senate is reviewing a motion proposing the creation of an Elderly Care and Protection Act to better safeguard the rights and dignity of our senior citizens. We invite you to share your suggestions and recommendations about what should be included in this act. Send your submission in writing to Clerk to the Houses, Gordon House, 81 Duke Street, Kingston, or email clark@japarliament.gov.jm. The deadline for submissions is February 15, 2025. Let's work together to protect and create a more inclusive and supportive Jamaica for our senior citizens.
So me just want to tell them, say, Simmer, who got the keys to the bimmer? Oh my, real reggae lover, Zaga.
Jamaica, the land of Bob Marley, Marcus Messiah Garvey, Usain Bolt, and of course, Reggae Month, the only month-long reggae music festival on planet Earth, where something reggae happens every day in the month of February, ranging from mega reggae concerts, reggae award ceremonies, and educational symposia on reggae. February is Reggae Month. Reggae Month is February, when Jamaica invites the world to come to Mecca, Reggae Mecca, and come catch the rhythm like no place else on earth, only in Jamaica.
And that's how I made to give him the door, breathe, I'm delighted. Jano say my passion ignited. Got the music get me excited. I'm coming like a boy.
Reggae Conversations, personal testimonials from reggae personalities who helped to create the music. A conversation with reggae ambassadors who took the music to the world.
For this reggae conversation, we welcome Dr. Lantronette Stines. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
Dr. Stines, tell us about your work and its connection to reggae music.
Let me begin from the fact that many years ago, I lived in Florida, and I was trained, thank God, in many techniques in dance. I was trained in classical ballet, jazz, African dance, contemporary dance, and I was in Florida teaching classes. And at that time, I had just started the company. It was a very boring name, Caribbean Dance Company. You know, you're young, you can't even think. And I remember one morning about to teach a class, and I felt like I wanted to vomit. Yeah, because I just felt as if, what is this I'm teaching? Where am I? Where am I in this movement, all these movement structures? Where is my country? Where is my culture? Where is my heritage? Where are the traditions from my own yard? You know? And I sent a young lady to buy a third world album, because them days is vinyl, you know, and on a CD, you know, I'm something there. And it was the album that had Sata on it. And my body began to do things that I had never done before. Truthfully, I did not realize that this was the seed of a technique that I was to develop. Dance has techniques in dance, you know. You have the Martha Graham technique, the Lester Horton technique, a variety of techniques. And they all have their own method of moving, their own way of training, their own philosophy, their own groundation, everything about each one is different. I wasn't aware that what I was beginning to do. But there are things you do in dance, and I'm going to use a little terminology, like what is called a plie. A plie means to bend. You know, half a plie is demi-plie. And so you do it a certain way because you have been trained in classical ballet. And then it hit me that one of the things we do most in dance in Jamaica, when the woman them dance, is move them bottom. Bottom is an important thing. You know, over time it became called bubble. Them times they never have that name. And so I found myself using that while I was going down in the plie. I found my arms doing things and fingers doing things that I had never done before. And it all began with reggae music. And third world music was very important at the time because of the fusion of classical, Rastafari, Naya, Bingi, groundation inside the music, you know. And then over time I got to realize, you see, we have a culture that we call out of many one people, which is true and rich. And the rich heritage of this country. And the fact that all these things came ashore. So when that ship landed with the enslaved, Europe came off and Africa came off. China came off. India came off. And all those cultures came off, not together, but they all came off into this island and exists. It's in all of our cultural retentions. It also is on the body in the dance. And so I found myself doing what, after a while, I call synergizing, synergizing to bridge cultures. And so the movement structure ended up becoming a technique called Lantic that represents the cultures that were all washed ashore. And sometimes, you know, some of the ancestors were thrown overboard. So I go back further, back to Africa. I reach back to Egypt. I go back to find that some of the things we think is purely classical ballet, if you look at Egyptian hieroglyphics, you're going to see them. So how can it be purely European? I start to ask those questions. But my dominant music structure that I use is reggae music and the sources inside reggae music, the drums, you know, that bingi rhythm, that kumina rhythm, those other sources that are all housed in Jamaica, preserved in Jamaica, because kumina is Congolese, but there are a lot here that we have preserved.
Tell us about Buyaka and its importance.
Wow, I can't believe you asked me that. Whoa. Buyaka is extremely important. It's the first dancehall piece to go on a proscenium stage in Jamaica. It's the first time. Let me tell you, I get some crucial piece of criticism over Buyaka. Even the costumes, I went and got dancehall dancers from Tivoli and Trenchtown to come and design the costumes. At that time, people used to go to dance and go, so, Buyaka, Buyaka. And so I named it Buyaka. And it really was about, I used to dance with Bogle, you know. I kind of live in a dance hall for a little bit, you know. And at that time, dancehall fashion was very exciting because I also worked with Carleen, dancehall queen. I was the first to help her go on stage with a fashion show she did. And fashion boring now, dancehall fashion boring now, because they were like Egyptian queens walking around. It was so amazing, the creativity in the fashion. And so I used to see them in the daytime, downtown, curlers in them here, in a flip-flop sandal, downtown looking for what them going to wear to dancehall. And so I choreographed it, that you saw all of that. And then the stage itself changed, the set itself changed from downtown to a dancehall session. And all of them had to change backstage in 5 counts. They had literally 5 to 10 counts. That meant put on a wig, put on a skirt. Everything had to change. because now they're at the session. And you know, at that time there was like a hole and you put your money, you peep on there and put the money under the hole. And so I've created that whole thing. It was such a response because what I was pleased about is that there were a certain socio-economic person, strata, whatever, that would go to the theater to see dance. And I brought into that theater people from all over because they wanted to see, when they heard about it, this piece that was called Buyaka, Buyaka, that also reflected them and what was happening in dancehall. I am so pleased for you to ask me that question.
It must have taken a lot of courage to be able to bring that kind of dance into that sort of space that, you know...
You know, I don't know if the word is courage, you know. I don't think I was ever... I don't know if it's because I don't have no sense, or because I never have that kind of fear, or because I have such respect for our culture, or because dancehall was so exciting, because the body, what the body does is so exciting. I don't know. But at the time, I knew that this was a movement that was resistance and revolution. You know, we speak about Rastafari as resistance and revolution. We speak about the Maroons as resistance and revolution. But dancehall was also resistance and revolution. It was coming from a people whose voices need to be heard. And their voice was their body. And they came up with fashion that ended up on runways in France. They came up, it was a whole new liberty, a whole new space for people. And it began on the streets, you know. And I used to go to them, you know. And I used to dance with them. And I knew the movement was so fabulous. But I did not think of using the movement to just dance. I always thought of using the movement to tell stories. The arm go way back to give reverence. Give reverence to the heavens. And then you scoop. You're scooping out all the wonderful energies from the universe. So I did choreograph after that. And I really don't remember the name of the piece. But I did choreograph a piece about a Don man being buried. He died, and his wife was a very Christian, churchical, nice lady. But she never knows him have about 10 more wives. You know, and so two of them come pregnant. It was and my mother said to me, this is the dance I like the most. Now my mother, you know, because it made her laugh, it made her happy. It was hilarious. And the church sister, every now and then we go back to the church, and she's in shock because she don't know who these people are. And it was another piece that I have, you know, I need to restage it.
Since 2016, 156,000 more Jamaicans are working. This is more than any other time in our history. Your government is caring for you. We care about our minimum wage earners. That is why we increased the minimum from the previous increase of 13,000 to now 15,000. And as our economy continues to improve, you can look forward to even more increases. Your government is caring for you.
How did you develop your appreciation and respect for the culture?
It began in Harborview. It began as a little girl. I was fortunate to have a dance teacher by the name of Alma Mokien, who was in media, but taught dance, and really taught dance. And we had a strange school. Nobody, at the time, we were taking classical ballet, we were taking Martha Graham technique, and then the real traditional Kumina person come teach us Kumina, and then somebody else come teach us, and then she would teach us dances from St. Lucia, and she would, but you know, I just told you something. Let me go back further. I had a lady used to work for my mother, right? She was like what them call me nanny, me whatever. My mother used to work at Harborview driving at the night, and she take care of me. And this story, she used to carry me to a go-go club with her at night. My mother did not know this was happening. So my mother is at Harborview driving, working, and our daughter is at a go-go club, sitting on a chair with a Pepsi, watching the lady that must take care of her go up and down a pole.
How old were you?
Down to, oh man, about, I know, about 8, little bit. And I'm having a good time. I have a Pepsi. And she tell me must never tell my mother. And I never told my mother because it was such fun. That same woman would have carried me down Windward Road on the side of the road to the revival duty. And I have a tambourine in my hand. And she wrap up my head with white cloth. And me dance with the tambourine. Hallelujah, amen. And my mother never know. When I was defending my PhD thesis, I wrote about it in my thesis. My mother was in the room in the back with an aunt, huddled, listening to me present my thesis, and they heard the story. My mother's mouth was wide open. She never knew that this woman called Enid, who I wish I could find, I don't know if she's alive, I don't know, because I remember her well, took me on the road to dance, to sing hallelujah, amen, you know, and also took me to the go-go club. I was always, from a child, somewhere that have to do with our culture. I was not brought up to only have respect for classical ballet. I was not brought up not to respect the traditional forms. My mother really had an appreciation for culture in her own way. She was a photographer. She painted, you know. Mother, my dearest mother, Ida Lee, who gone. So it was something from a child, and then Almamokin continued to nurture it. We were dancing all the ska and everything in a dance studio. It wasn't as if it was limited to only a Eurocentric consciousness. It had a lot of Jamaican consciousness in it. And that's what happened there.
Where did you grow up?
I remember a road off of Mountain View. I remember that. I remember giving plenty trouble because I was always mischievous. And then I remembered mostly Harborview. A lot in Harborview. Yeah, and then after that we moved all around, you know. But my main memories that really impact culturally on me is Mountain View and Harborview.
What was your childhood like?
Ooh, that's deep, man. Deep. Well, you see, I have 3 fathers. But my daddy, I define father and daddy different, you know. My father was Dr. Aurelio Condell. And a lot of people, when they hear this, they go like this, what? Really? But he was more my friend, you know. He had me when he was very young. And he was very academic and very bright. And I give thanks because I think I have a little tip of his genes. Just a little tip, maybe. If him have 100, I have maybe 1% of his, and it's really good to have it. And he was a person that always wanted to go to school. So he had more than one specialty in medicine. He was a dentist, he was an anesthesiologist, he might have been something else, and I don't know. But the deal with my mother and father was when I get to time to university, I go to America to my father. But I am in Jamaica with my mother. My mother got married, not to my father, but to a man who was my daddy, Lavester Young, who was very good to me, very kind to me. I might not have been his child, but in his mind, and he's on my birth certificate. He's my daddy. And then after that, really 2 fathers. Let's just say 2 fathers. I have 2 fathers. Yes. Aurelio Condell, because I have some kind of Cuban things in me too, because I hear my great-great-grandfather was from Cuba. My grandfather was from Guangdong, China. I have a grandmother who was Scottish and maroon. Yeah, is that everything? And another grandmother who was primarily African. So when I did my Ancestry.com as a gift, somebody did it for me. I am 70-something%, I'm part Congolese and part Nigerian. I'm plenty Chinese and a percentage Scottish. Yeah.
And growing up now, what was your household like? Was it just you?
Oh, very interesting. Because I'm going to tell you something about Chinese people. They don't leave out each other. So they all came from Mandeville. My heritage, everybody's from Mandeville. And they all come to Kingston together. And everybody live in one Harborview house. Everybody, you know. How them figure it out, only God know. And then them extend the house a little bit. And we all lived in a Harborview house. I was always a person that had to make lemonade to give all the man them who went to play football. I was the lemonade maker. But I guess one drink I can definitely make is lemonade. And when the man them going out to fish, I was the person that had to go on the boat and put the worms. So I hate fishing because of that. So, yeah, but and then everybody moved out, you know, everybody moved out. Everybody is very, very successful, ended up very successful. But when they all was coming from Mandeville, one at a time, my house is where they ended up in Harborview. And so I was a child hearing all kind of conversations and listening. My grandfather, I'm the first grandchild for both mother and father. And I was the only one allowed to put my hand in his hair. And he sat and talked to me. And he said to me, promise me that you will go to the highest level of education. My grandfather made me promise that when I was a very little girl. I went to do the PhD because of my grandfather. I made that promise as a very little girl.
And the PhD's in what?
Cultural studies, focused on dance. Yeah, and so my heritage is all of what I put in my technique. I am the embodiment of out of many, in that I have the Scottish, the Chinese, a little Indian, maroon, you know. So I really strongly believe that we must respect all our heritage.
Denise Williams here, inviting you to join us on Financially Focused, the ultimate destination for go-getters who are ready to take the step-by-step actions to master your finances and create a family legacy. Tune in, watch, take notes, and participate to discover the strategies of our expert guests who provide invaluable guidance and powerful coaching tools to supercharge your financial journey.
Tune in to Financially Focused, Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. only on PBCJ, the People's Station.
Cook it up and make we steam it. Fresh so me need it, tilapia a real fish. Cook it up and make we roast it. Farm fresh so me need it, tilapia a real fish. Grow smart at the best part. Food for thought so me have to eat smart. Easy catch, fully net. A tilapia so you don't know what's next. Cook it up and make we fry it. Fresh so me need it, tilapia a real fish. Bring home the best in freshwater fish. High content of vitamin B3, protein and potassium. Tilapia, simple, healthy, delicious.
Join us as we navigate this interwoven landscape, discovering how every portfolio and agency under the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation play a crucial role in national development, from housing to land. NWC, why I don't have any water in my tap? To infrastructure and investment, so the government is not giving away any assets.
No, Dini.
All right.
Not at all.
Let's unravel the threads of success as we explore the MEGJC matrix.
When did dancing begin for you?
In heaven. My mother said I have a story. My mother said I was dancing in her stomach. She said it was every minute she feels things happening. But I was to be, my mother went to St. Joseph's Hospital to have me on one day. And it was time, and she said they saw my head coming out, and all of a sudden I went back. And they had her walking up and down, but my mother was young, you know. And she said the day she had me, she climbed a mango tree to pick a mango. And after she come down the mango tree and eat off the mango them, is when I decided to come. That was almost 5 days after that I was supposed to have come. I don't believe I started dancing. I believe God was kind enough to me to give me this gift. I really strongly believe that, because I have taken on dance not only as a body language, but I have taken on dance to research the history of my country. I've also taken it on, for example, Kumina, you can go take Kumina as representative of the Africans who came at that time. Some of them never came as slaves. Then you go to Brookings, to the abolition of slavery. Then you come forward and you find all the other creolized forms like Gary and those things. And you come forward and you're finding ska and all of that. And you come forward, there is a dance to represent something that happened in this country. Because people used to dance because when them do bike back, it's because of how bikes start to come in Jamaica. And you can research so much things using the body, using the dance. I was always dancing, always. I mean, I went to university in the West Indies as a very young girl to have an appendectomy. How I end up with all the children out on the grass teaching them to dance. I'm a little girl, you know. I said a little girl about 12. And them come on the wall, and anybody who could walk was outside on the grass dancing with me. I was always dancing. It's my present.
When did formal instruction in dancing begin?
Okay, now that's a good question. There's a woman that I can't remember her name, and I think I was in prep school, and I always pray for her. That is the first woman that taught me first position, second position. I'm a JCDC child. I'm a festival child. I danced for Alma Mokin in festival. And let me tell you, most of the kids who dance in the festival are extremely good performers. My formalized training was really Alma Mokin in Harborview. And then I went off to New York. And in New York, I studied at Ailey. I studied at Clark Center for Performing Arts. I studied with Dennis Zulu. I studied with a lot of teachers. I can't remember every name. And I think I was meant, that was also God's plan. Because when you're going to develop a technique, you don't want to think you're developing something and it exists already. You don't want to reinvent the wheel. So I was afforded the opportunity to take all these techniques to make, so now I know that what I have done is not a copy, you know? I hate to be old time days, don't be a copycat.
Yeah.
I hate to be a copycat. I have to know that what I have done is indeed a brand new technique, is indeed new ways of using the body, is indeed new ways of incorporating what is ours with, you know, of synabridging. And so that was my journey.
How long did it take you to develop Lantic?
If my dancers watch this, they would die laughing because they tell me to stop. Because I keep getting, I just came up with a double turn coming out of Kumina. That never existed before. I have finished, I have a textbook. I have a textbook with chapters on various things that I have used, plus the various examination, the syllabus, because it's formalized, you know. It's documented, it's formalized, it's examinable. I have all of that, but I'm an artist. I'm a creator, and I open myself to God and the messages. And when I hear that I've been given that, I tell you, the gift. So things will happen, and all of a sudden people will say, but that don't exist. That doesn't happen. The way we use a studio, even the way we use a dance studio, what is called a ballet bar. We are sliding down the bars and sliding back, and how we use the bar is not how anybody uses the bar anywhere. There are distinct things that make the technique distinctly different. than any existing technique in the world.
Such as?
Such as this. Such as various ways of using the arms, such as the bubbling down, such as taking what is called flanke in Kumina and make that flanke, such as the upper body doing Yanvalu while the foot is doing something European, sinner bridging, such as, and such as. I'll have to get up and dance for you, and I'm not doing that.
We would love that.
And I'm not doing that. No.
You have danced all over the world.
No, man. I haven't danced in Greece. I have a thing I want to go to Greece. If somebody was to ever give me a gift, I don't know if it, and I want to go to South Africa. There are places we haven't been, but Lakadko and I, we have been to Berlin. We are now going on tour this year to Chemnitz, Germany. This is exciting. Should I tell you what's happening?
Yes, please.
There is a play called Ulysses, very ancient, still regarded as one of the top plays ever written. 7 dance companies are going to Chemnitz. Each company is given a chapter to choreograph. I am choreographing chapter 3, using Jamaica, presenting Jamaica. We are also going to do a performance of just Lakadko's repertoire. That chapter that I choreograph will be performed 4 times in Germany. So 7 dance companies are going to meet. They're coming from all over in Chemnitz, Germany, and we are representing Jamaica. It excites me to represent Jamaica. We went to Expo many years ago. We performed at the Expo in Spain. We were been to Spain. And what I did in the Expo in Spain is took the people who were working at the Expo, because you know Jamaica have an area. I choreographed the people. I just carried bandana cloth, and so it looked like Jamaica brought a whole of people. And we danced live to Third World playing Sata. And we won what they call, it's a competition. And Jamaica won. And Jamaica was shown every day after that for the entire Expo. Those are nice moments to remember. We have been to France, because of Sata as well. We have been to Leicester, Liverpool, London. We have been to many Carifestas. I have really pushed to get funding for us to go to Carifestas to represent Jamaica. So we have been to Suriname, we have been to Haiti, we have been to Trinidad. I can't remember where we are now. We have been to Japan, we have been to China.
Cuba, wasn't that special for you given your ancestral connection?
I am so surprised at the things you ask me. I have to do ballet. It's a word I'll teach. It's special for many reasons. We went to Cuba to perform many years ago, the dance company. And we performed all around Cuba. And it was a big thing because one section of Cuba requested that we come back again. It was big because nobody else was asked to come back again. And when we got there, we were going to perform Sata in a theater in Havana. And I am not sure, I don't want to, President Fidel Castro came to the performance. And all these dancers, and they have a set of people in Cuba who, they study the science of dance. And we danced Sata, and I was asked to meet them in a room. I was so frightened. I was such a young girl. I was saying, oh my God, what did I do? I was wrong. And I was given a message from Mr. Castro at how wonderful he thought the piece was. And the person who went with us, which was Mr. Mandy's son at the time, to translate because he knows Spanish, he was tears. And I said, what I do? And they said, we want to know what you call what you're doing, because that is not classical ballet. That's the day I found out that I have really created a technique. That's the day I got confirmation that what you have done is brand new. These elders, you know, in a room questioning me, and then they asked if I would teach the Cuban company the technique. you're a young girl, you know, and you get asked that, you go home and cry. So Cuba is very special to me because of that moment. Cuba is also special to me because the heritage is so rich. I've learned so much from Cuba. I've learned that to be African, you have to also have respect for methods of worship. You cannot keep talking about African methods of worship as if it is the most worst thing in the world and always think of them as obia and terrible. You have to stop and research, find out about it. And I have children in Cuba. I have done performances to raise funds for Cuba. It's all, they're family to us. Haiti is very important to me as well, because I was the assistant artistic director to Carafesta Haiti. I have never seen so many wonderful things. Their artistic work, it's such a rich culture. Belize is also important to me, because it's all these places I have been. I'm a Jamaican woman. That is why every time the dancers laugh at me, because I post blessings and love, much love from Kingston, Jamaica. You have to know that I come from Jamaica. It is important to me.
Get ready to be inspired. Join us on PBCJ's Giving Hearts, the show that celebrates kindness, compassion, and generosity.
So we try to give books, shoes, lunch snacks, and uniform allowance.
We'll share powerful stories of individuals and organizations making a difference across the island each week.
My mother and I felt the need to keep helping children with special needs and other children.
From ordinary people doing extraordinary things to organizations driving positive change.
And we haul up garbage, whether with our nets, hooks, picks.
Giving Hearts will warm your heart and inspire you to take action. Don't miss Giving Hearts, airing Sundays at 8 p.m. with a rebroadcast on Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. exclusively on PBCJ, the People's Station.
If you want to volunteer, definitely do it. You get actually a rewarding feeling after.
Join the movement. Spread love. Give from the heart. Giving Hearts, Sundays at 8 p.m., Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. on PBCJ. Follow us on social media at PBC Jamaica for updates and more inspiring stories.
More of your money is now tax-free? Know that the income tax threshold has been increased. Your government is looking after you responsibly, so our economy can do even more for you.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Denise Williams here, inviting you to join us on Financially Focused, the ultimate destination for go-getters who are ready to take the step-by-step actions to master your finances and create a family legacy. Tune in, watch, take notes, and participate to discover the strategies of our expert guests who provide invaluable guidance and powerful coaching tools to supercharge your financial journey.
Tune in to Financially Focused, Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. only on PBCJ, the People's Station.
Do you consider yourself an ambassador of Jamaica? Maybe through dance?
I've always wanted to do that. Listen to me. This was my dream, to be an ambassador to Jamaica for dance. Using, not necessarily only dance, because I've researched so much of the culture, but it's something I've always wanted to do, because I am very nationalistic. You see, when I travel, I will speak I'm not going to put on an accent. So I can cock up my foot and go back, man, every time I'm still Africa. You will never get me to do that. I have to listen to your voice and I listen to you, be yourself. I'm not going to have identity crisis. This is me. And I feel the way I speak, you can understand me. And I overstand. I have a chapter in my thesis that's titled Overstand. What Rastafari has done with words is very interesting. You know?
Yes.
And I relate to it a lot. So, yes, I've always wanted to do that. And I think I've been doing it by taking my company all over the world to represent Jamaica.
Let's talk some more about your work with reggae musicians and reggae in general. Some of the choreography, the memorable choreography that you have done.
I have a piece called Chat About Them, in which I use music from Stephen Marley.
Corruption of your thoughts, yeah. Destruction of your soul.
In which I present all these people who invented things that everybody feel that is not a black person do it. I can't present everyone, but what I did with this is we are talking on stage and calling the names.
King Kamache, Marcus Garvey.
And giving respect to all these people who have done such great work, including Professor Rex Neckleford. You know, we mustn't forget the people that did. We must always keep the memory of these people alive. I am very proud of Chat About Them. We performed it in Washington, D.C. at the International Association of Blacks in Dance. When we got there, we are always the persons that nobody pay attention. The little Jamaicans, you know, little Jamaicans, them can't, what are they going to do?
Bubble.
But I know, what are they going to do? So we didn't get a dressing room. So we're in the aisles, warming up, and I said to my dancers, you see humility? It's a very important thing. That thing can win wars, because I have no clue what you're going to do. So we're warming up, and you know, everybody looking at us like, you know, why them even? So we went for a tech rehearsal, and the person said to us, well, the real dance companies are coming very shortly. You have 10 minutes. Nobody can go on a stage and dance and block and tech in 10 minutes. So I went in the audience to the man who did lighting, and I said to him, I'd like you to marry me. He said, excuse me? I said, you're the lighting man. I have 10 minutes. I am going to do what they call Q to Q, and then I'm going to dance a little bit of the dance, and I'm depending on you to light my dance better than anything you have ever done. I need you to marry me. And he looked at me and said, okay. And when I was doing what I was doing, he said to me, so when they develop it, I said, excuse me, how you know that? He said, I used to be a dancer with Alvin Ailey Company. Don't worry, I understand what you need. So the woman said to me, we don't know where to put you on the show, you know. We can't put you first, we can't put you second, so we're gonna have to put you third or fourth. We said, be humble, put us anywhere. It was a lot of work to raise the funds to get to that event. It was a big event. And when we were finished performing Chat About Them, the audience stood up. People were in the audience crying. They were stamping on the floor. They were making, the woman went back and she says, ladies and gentlemen, it's not the end of the show, you have to sit down. And we carried Jamaica flag so high, all to reggae music. I have done Sata Atoli to reggae music. I have done body readings to Bob. Another musician that I love very much is Monty Alexander. I have choreographed Land Techniques Reggae. I tried so hard to take that dance off stage. One man came to our season, a father, and that year we were doing different dances every night. And he came back the second night, and I went outside at the end of the show, and he came up to me, he says, I'm so angry. I said, why are you angry, sir? Because you take off my dance. Land Techniques Reggae. I think I could choreograph everything Monty Alexander has done when it comes to reggae, when he does the interpretations and does old-time Jamaican music too, and I like his music very much. But there's Alpha Blondie. There are so many musicians that I have. Muta Baruka. Muta Baruka also choreographed on my company. he had an idea. It was called "The White Man's Heaven is a Black Man's Hell." And I gave him a dancer because he has the ideas. And then Muta got up and moved too and said, "This is what I feel."
You recorded it?
Me say, no. When him do that, you know, everybody's like, what? He got up and said, "That's not what I feel. I feel something like this." And then we interpret what him feel. So I have worked Mikey Smith, Adema Roots, lad. A lot of reggae musicians. Jean Binta Breeze.
Mm-hmm.
She was my best friend. She has gone. I love her dearly. I can't remember every name, so if I didn't call her name and anybody know I choreographed to their music, please forgive me and love me same way. I've also worked a lot with Itana. You know, I choreograph her shows live. The dancers on the stage are my dancers. You know, I choreograph for Shabba Ranks. It's just so many, I can't remember.
What was that experience like? I mean, Shabba sort of helped to change the sound of the music, introduce dancehall.
Whoa.
Big stage.
It was such a pleasure. Shabba is a disciplined man. You see, if Shabba said rehearsal is at 8 o'clock, at 7:30 Shabba is there. Shabba don't like people who are indisciplined. Him don't like it. Musicians can't come late.
Mm-hmm.
Very disciplined and very respectful. He was very respectful, and I was brought because of Minister Babsy Grange, who is involved in music and culture. Her knowledge of culture is very rich. And she hired me one morning to reach the airport the same evening. I had just had my daughter Amani, so I was walking with a baby I just had. And I asked her if somebody could come to babysit, and she said yes. And and the person never had a visa, and boom, 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 and we were at the airport, and we were in New York City, and I'm going to choreograph for Shabba. Why am I there? I don't know. And then 3 people walk in and said, they are the choreographers. 3 people. One said, him said he's a dancehall choreographer. He has never been to Jamaica. He's a dancehall choreographer. One said she's the African choreographer, and the other one said she's jazz. So they needed 3 people to choreograph the songs. Shabba arrived. The musician said to me, "Lantoinette, you have to see this, boy. You have to see this." He said to me, 3 people, how it can go wrong? Then Shabba come in and Shabba said, "Boy, Antoinette," he never called me Lantoinette, he called me Antoinette. "Me don't know what to tell you. Him don't like what them doing at all." And when them start to play the music, the musicians turn them back. Some of them turn sideways, and the dancers going to dance. And I was like, whoa, I can't fix this. This is like you're baking a cake and you put in too much flour. You put in too much sugar, me put salt, you put salt, it spoil. You have to start over. I can't fix it. So I didn't know what to do. So I said the only way to work with these girls, I went down to Brooklyn tonight, and I get some real Jamaican girl in. And I said, "Listen to me, I give you the money to come to this tomorrow. Come in the outfits, the time the outfit them, you know, and come to this place, me give them money, them reach." Me say when them start play Shabba music, first 2 just goes on the head top. You see the girl them? You see when them start to bubble? You should see the girl them. Them was like, they had no sense of what they're doing. So to get to shock them into overstanding, that Jamaican dancehall is real, and it is Jamaican, and it is specific. It's a language. It's a language of a people who go outside because inside the house hot. It's a language of a people whose rhythm patterns come way back from Africa. It's a memory. It's everything. You have to watch them dance. And so they watch them dance, and I said to them, I can't fix anything I did. I have to re-choreograph the entire thing. And I was upset. I kept asking them, we can't make them do the show instead. I want to switch out the girl them, you know, and switch in my Jamaican girl them. But there was a lot of, you know, some of them don't have a visa. Some of them don't have this. Some of them don't have no that. And so that's why they ended up with who they have. That was interesting.
Join the conversation focusing on Jamaica's development. Tune in to the post-cabinet press briefings, Wednesdays live at 9 a.m. with a rebroadcast at 9 p.m. right here on PBCJ, the People's Station.
Remember, students, coming here on campus, even returning students, your security is your responsibility. Always remember that, please. From time to time, you will have police, campus patrol, and also that's a JCF police, and also local securities. Whenever you have to take taxis to come to campus, please ensure you get a glance of the license plate numbers. I have to be practical. At some points, you might not be able to get the license plate number because of the rush going into the vehicle, but please take note of your drivers. It is very important there.
So this discussion that we hear from time to time about what passes for dance in the dance hall, the daggering, and it is so this, it is so that. How do you respond to that?
I was never a fan of daggering. And I never liked the comparison of daggering to Kumina, because there's no comparison. Philosophically, physically, spiritually, in every way possible, there was no comparison to daggering. Daggering was a moment of madness in my mind. And what concerns me more is when foreigners decide that them create dance hall. That's happening too. How on earth a foreigner can they're not even, when they say they create a step, it's something that them copy the hand from somebody, them copy the foot from somebody, and one step happen, and they are now saying that they create dance hall, some foreigners. And that bothers me. Dance hall is something that has taken on and it flies now. You know, dancers are teaching dance hall in Europe in stadium. And the stadium feels full of people. Because it's something that the body can do, and you can learn it. You don't have to go through all the rigorous training about ballerina and about blah, 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 blah. But still, it takes a lot out of the body. Let me tell you. We have people also who have no respect for the fact that it's an art. It's an art in itself. But when we take the dance now and make it into something that is dangerous, is a moment of madness. Then we have to stop, pull back, and stop it.
But dancing is also the opening ceremony for Cricket World Cup.
Well, that is years ago. Cricket World Cup opening ceremony is one of my proud moments. My proudest moments are my children. People think my proudest moments are what I achieve. No, what they are achieving make me very proud. I just want to drop that to you. And that was a rough one, Cricket World Cup opening ceremony. But in the end, what went on that field that I was fully in charge of, I led every single fingernail that happened on that field. You know, I was in charge. And then I got choreographers that is when they were started to train as to what to do on the field. You know, like Michael Holgate, you know, like a lot of them. And that is where it began for some. And I tried to be as fair as I could be to bring the young people that I saw doing wonderful things in festival, doing wonderful things in their own work with groups like, it wasn't called Asha at the time, it might be called Little People or Asha. These wonderful, young, talented people, I tried to make them because now they had to work with so much people, and they had not started yet working with Grand Gala. You know, that they were. So, and we put together something that I hear for years has been respected as one of the best cricket World Cup opening ceremony. That I remember when the gentleman came, he said, "Who did this?" And he called me. He says, "It's the first time I've gone to a country and been given a finished product. Thank you."
Wow.
That's what he said to me.
What's next for you in your incredible career?
Well, I really want to start an institute of performing arts, my own. And people say, you know, when you have a certain age, you mustn't start things. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in nothing like to do with age. I don't think we should think that way. And also, I am doing what is called a dance evolution. That's going to happen every 2 years, where I am bringing people from all over the world into Jamaica and bringing people from all over the world to study our dance and to study dances. For example, I'm bringing Haiti, I'm bringing Cuba, I'm bringing Brazil, I'm bringing a hip-hop African teacher from Africa. And it's going to happen every 2 years, so you can't do everything the first time. There's so much that can be brought, and have academics coming in who will come to speak with the authentic sources of Rastafari and all those spaces, because they are doing research for their PhDs or whatever. That's one of the projects I'm working on. I pray that one day I can get the funding for Lakadko dancers to become full-time, because they travel all over the world. And it's a lot of hard work to come in every night at 5 o'clock and dance straight through till 10 o'clock to train. So the bodies, because they're athletes, the bodies have to train. And continue doing what I'm doing with the help of the divine.
What are your views on Reggae Month?
And writing books too.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What are your views on Reggae Month?
There are two things that I have respect for, Reggae Month and Reggae Day. I have great respect for them because I was involved in both. This is something that has to happen, no matter which government. There has to be Reggae Month. So the concept is very important, because reggae music, we talk about dancehall. Let's talk about reggae music. Reggae music can't stall. It can't done. It is going to always be forever and ever, amen. Reggae music is love music. Reggae music is healing music. Reggae music is conscious music. Reggae music have all these positive things to go with it, reggae music. So it is an important month that has to be nurtured.
Dr. Stines, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, sir, for having me.
I see your glory in the morning sun. I see your glory when the day dawns. A little bit of it can be sweet when you ain't got plenty. Don't drown yourself now. Don't drown yourself in too much honey.
Yeah, reggae is my life, you know, because if it wasn't for reggae, I don't shot me, I walk out saying dead or something, of the music, yeah? But glad for Reggae Month.
Persons can now make payment of their police records